Get your breathing in. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hello and welcome to the final week of our Get Off the Couch Spring Camporee. I'm Jason Hickey, one of your hosts, and with me today we have who's there? Somebody on Colin, go.
Okay. Hi, I'm Colin Howard, current Council VOA President for the Great Southwest, and next to me is...
I'm Ethan Mackis, current Section Chief, and below me is...
I'm Michael Whitford.
Nice!
Who's also super active and involved in many things with the council. So today we have our final show. But, we wanted to real quick recap what's been going on these 4 weeks. All of you have been real busy, working real hard, and doing some really amazing things. So with a quick recap of what our Get Off the Couch Spring Camporee has been and the challenges and competition, we've got Ethan Mamanakis.
Where is this?
You're supposed to say words now.
It was?
You're supposed to give a recap of what y'all been doing.
Oh, what they've been doing?
Yeah.
Okay, I got this. So all y'all in teams, you've been working towards some sort of goal, which is accumulating points. And by accumulating points, what you have to do is complete tasks and take videos of those tasks being completed, and then uploading them for the judges to do what they do best to judge them. Over the past 3 or 4 weeks, this has been occurring, and we have the final results, and we're going to be sharing those momentarily. That's pretty much what you guys have been doing or should have been doing. Hopefully everyone who did participate had a great time. That's all I have. Thank you for coming to.
Nope, and so that's exactly it. For the past 4 weeks, you all have been participating in various challenges ranging from knot tying to singing songs and skits to various other things. And you've submitted some wonderful pictures and videos, and those have been just great to see. Everybody looks like they've been having fun, and like I said, we'll recap those at the very end. For now, though, we wanted to cover some final opportunities that might be coming up this summer you can take to get off the couch and have some fun over the summer season. We're going to have some promo videos playing for the High Adventure bases. So for those of you who don't know, Scouts BSA has 4 national high adventure bases, 4 of them all across the country, one of which is here in New Mexico, northern New Mexico, called Philmont Scout Ranch. So Philmont Scout Ranch in northern New Mexico. In the Florida Keys, we have Florida Sea Base. Then our newest base in West Virginia called the Summit Bechtel Reserve. And finally, our one right on the Canadian border of Minnesota and Canada, Northern Tier High Adventure Base. And we'll be playing some promos for those shortly and kind of talking about those briefly. And hopefully those will come up just here in a second. Real quick, while we work out getting those put up, we're also going to mention that later on we'll be talking more about Cub Scout Day Camp and some other opportunities. We also wanted to mention Brown Sea, and we're going to have a promo for that. Oh, here we go. It looks like we're starting with Northern Tier. This is a place that's kind of near and dear to my heart. For those of you who don't know, I staffed at Northern Tier for several summers, starting all the way back in 2011 and pretty much going through 2020. Oh, that's Dan Rogan, one of our staffers that's been up there. The Northern Tier is a canoe wilderness adventure, very different than something many of us experience here. We're all used to kind of this dry weather and backpacking across mountains, which is just awesome. But up in Northern Tier, it's the lakes region. So you've got all this amazing thing called water, fresh water everywhere. And you get to paddle across it. And in summer, in winter, everything freezes over and you can do things like cross-country skiing, dog sledding, snowshoeing. It's a pretty phenomenal opportunity. I actually got the chance to meet up with a friend of mine who's still a full-time staffer up there and doing an interview with them. And we'll have that posted to the YouTube channel and the Facebook channel later on. So you can kind of watch that and hear more about the opportunities they have available. But as you can see, it gets quite a bit colder up there. But even still, everybody has a lot of fun. It's a great time to be up there in the summer when it's just kind of ridiculously hot here. It's just really nice up there. You get kind of these great lake breezes, lots of fun. And if you just need to cool off, of course, you can go for a swim in the lake. Not a hard thing at all. Fresh blueberries are one of my favorite things up there. Oh, yeah. So in winter, they have something called the Zero Hero Patch. If it gets below 0 for a period of time, you can get the Zero Hero Award. Oh, there's a dog sledding trek going across one of our lakes. Oh, yeah, and they're in front of our paddle barn. That's that I believe is one of the Canadian Ranger float planes taking off. Yep. And it's definitely pushing your limits. There's a lot of people who think paddling is easier than backpacking, but let me promise you that it is not. Granted, they can tailor your trip to something that's both easier or more difficult, depending on what you're looking for and the age limit of your crew. But they have a lot of fun, each one of those. So if you're looking for just a really tough and kind of challenging trip, they can definitely make one of those for you. But if you're looking for something more relaxing and if you enjoy fishing, let me tell you, the fishing up there is phenomenal. One of the prize catches is the walleye. Everybody likes to catch pike because they put up a good fight, but the walleye is the good eating. It's a great fish to catch. Oh, yep. That was JSR, one of our other staffers up there. He's a phenomenal guy. Was one of our Force Corps program directors for a year. Does a great job. Northern Tier is just wonderful fun. If you have more questions about it or are interested in finding out more, just look it up either on YouTube or Google. They have some great promotional materials out there. They have everything from crew trips that you can go up with your troop or unit to individual program trips, where if you just want to go, but you don't necessarily have a crew or unit that wants to go, you can go up by yourself. And they create crews of just individuals. And that's a lot of fun in many ways because you get to meet people from across the country and learn things that you necessarily wouldn't if you just go up with your own crew. They also have special opportunities for youth to include the Order of the Arrow Wilderness Voyage program, which is a 2-week adventure, only costs around $300, which is a great opportunity. Actually, Colin is over there on one of these screens. He's going to be taking advantage of that this summer. He's been promising me he was going to do that for many summers, and finally he's going to do that. As you can tell, I'm a big fan of Northern Tier. I've got on some of my gear. Back behind me, on this side, that's one of our flags that shows the U.S. and Canada. They've got 3 bases, with their flagship base in Ely, Minnesota, plus 2 bases in Canada, one just kind of north of the border there, and then one that's in Bissett, Manitoba, which is way, way up there. It's very remote. Every trip out of that one's a float plane trip. So Atikokan, Ontario is the other one that's just north of the border, but Bissett, Manitoba is way remote. We'll have some pictures and videos posted later to the link. I shared some with our tech guru so he can post it from my experiences. And I think it's a wonderful opportunity to take advantage of. For their winter adventures, everybody gets kind of afraid. They hear about those Minnesota winters. Yeah, there's some of the pictures. That flower there is what they call a pink lady slipper, really awesome. There's some of our guys in front of the Canadian border sign. For that trip, we were actually traveling from the U.S. into Canada. We had to get something called a remote area border crossing permit, which was kind of cool. It gave us permission to cross the border at a remote zone. There's our guys at a waterfall, Louisa Falls, just north in the Canadian border. A really cool spot. The group I was with was Wellway Wilderness Voyage. They were doing some trail work. So there's our guys kind of on our sledge pit and just kind of posing with their tools. You can do things like cooking over an open fire, which happens a lot. So we've had that going on right there. Singing Brook Portage there. Again, kind of some more pictures of Louisa Falls. Blueberries, fresh blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. There's lots of fresh berries everywhere, and even hazelnut. It's really great. Remember those difficult portages? What that guy there is sunk in is something we call moose muck. It's where kind of the trail just kind of degrades into this mud and quagmire, and it's a lot of fun to go through. Most people don't think so, but it's actually a great bit of fun. There's a campsite on the beach where we were just able to kind of have some of that picturesque beach fire going, and some great fishing off of that. It's just beautiful, beautiful country up there. Just some great sunsets then, our dock. Those are some pictures from our base. Again, some sunsets. This last summer, I was actually a program director for the OA Wilderness Voyage. So a lot of my photos this last summer were of the base, unfortunately, because I just didn't get out and trail as much. But it's still a beautiful, beautiful area. Wonderful opportunity. Something completely different than what we're used to seeing here. So if you ever get too dry or you decide you actually want to see fresh water for a change, great chance to do that. And even do it in the winter. They'll outfit you with pretty much everything. So they like to say in winter, you can just show up with kind of your long underwear, and they'll outfit you with everything else. Because they know if they get crews from Florida going up and trying to experience those, sub-zero winters, and they make sure that they have a comfortable and safe and fun time. So it's a great opportunity. Check it out. Moving right along, we've got some other opportunities we're going to share with you. So that was our Northern Tier High Adventure Base. And if you can't see, again, I'm a big fan of Northern Tier. I staffed there for many years. I'm repping some of the gear. I've got a paddle behind me, kind of one of their maps, candles. So, but other opportunities that we've got, of course, include Sea Base, which we'll have them popping up just momentarily. Sea Base is a wonderful high adventure program, and Colin's been there recently, haven't you, Colin?
Well, quasi recently, like 2018-ish, but close enough. So my experience with the sea-based program is generally along the lines of the OA Ocean Adventure program. When it comes to sea-based, they really have a lot in the way of like different stuff that they're doing. Particularly if you're going for like a normal program, you could go on sailboats, go out for like a week. They have a couple of different islands associated with the sea base themselves, both in the Florida Keys as well as near Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands down further into the Caribbean. So they have a couple different programs at those places as well. In addition to that, they sometimes with their sailboat ones, they also have scuba diving around different shipwrecks and such around the Florida Keys and Caribbean area. As well as a couple of different other programs that they do both throughout the year and also during their summer main time frame as well. A lot of the pictures you're seeing here are from the Fort Jefferson, which is part of the Dry Tortugas National Park, where we do the OAOA. So that right there is the moat that they have for the fort, and some really, really big cannons, just because they had, it was used as a military fort around the Civil War, between there and the Revolutionary War timeframe. But it was a really great opportunity to do, kind of experience something different from here in New Mexico. Still hot, but in a different way, because now you have humidity, and that makes it debatably worse. But it was still a really great opportunity. My group in particular, we were able to do some shark fishing. So we caught a 4-foot-long shark and a 6-foot-long shark. So that was really fun. There was a couple of pictures in there. I don't know if you kind of whooshed through them real fast. But it was a pretty good experience, I could say. So then they have a lot of different variety at sea base.
Well, that's awesome. And I mean, so just kind of lots of good eating there, it sounded like, with the fish. Were you able to eat all those fish? Do you eat shark?
We used most of our fish catching to work our way up the food chain to get to the sharks, instead of just eating them straight. But we did mix in a couple of the leftover fish that we had in a couple of our meals. So
Fair enough. There you go. Well, awesome. Well, sea base is a wonderful opportunity. Everybody raves about it. I mean, they operate pretty much year round, is my understanding, just because it's always down there. Just always cool. I remember, I mean, I went years back and did what they called the off base adventure, which was kind of like a sampler platter of everything they have available. And I remember that was pretty phenomenal. But those are some great pictures. I mean, look at that. Wow. So green.
That's across the, if you go back one, that's, oh, never mind. He can't do that. It's just going as it goes. But there's a couple ones of like the sea from the island, a couple of yachts in the background, just from, people hitching into the national park area. But yeah, it was a good experience, and I certainly enjoyed not only doing the program, but also meeting all the different people I got to meet through it. So
awesome. Those are some, I mean, just some really pretty scenery that you've got going out there with the sunsets that you're showing. Oh, these guys are fishing. Oh, there's the sunset again. But it looks like it was a phenomenal opportunity.
Yep.
Must have been a big catch.
Well, it went on. That was the first shark one, which went on for like 3 hours or something like that.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, and there's the shark. So a shark is a catch and release, or how does that work?
They did. Well, it was catch and release because it's shark in general. I think there's a couple ones that you can probably keep, but I think you need like specific licenses for that or something. Either way, we let them go after we caught them, and they were all like fairly small, so they were pretty much babies anyway, or at least fairly young ones.
Well, nice. Well, it looks like a phenomenal opportunity. I'm not sure I'd be as brave to try and get a hook out of a shark's mouth, but it looks like a good opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, moving right along. So after sea base, we have our newest high adventure base that we're going to talk about. And again, Colin is kind of the one who's had the most experience there. I can't say I've ever been to this one. It's in West Virginia. It's called the Summit Bechtel Reserve. It's a pretty phenomenal place from what I hear, but I've again never been. But I hear they have just like phenomenal facilities, right? Or
Yeah. Well, with the Summit Bechtel Reserve located in West Virginia, it's close kind of to the border with North Carolina. As a lot of people have made this comparison before, but it's essentially scouting Disneyland because it's a really great. They've put a lot of effort into this facility just by adding in like so much stuff. It's a really great kind of like exhibition area of everything that's available to scouts to do. From anything from zip lining to whitewater rafting to swimming, hiking, biking, land boarding. I don't know what they call it. So like it's just a lot of different programs that are available there. They have the longest zip line in the Western Hemisphere, the largest half pike for skateboarding in North America, like the third largest shooting range in the world. Lots of different stuff like that. So it's a really great opportunity to kind of go and get a lot of different little experiences of scouting and kind of experience everything that there is available. My experience with the Summit Bechtel is generally through the jamborees, both the 2017 national and the 2019 international jamboree that we had there. So it's admittedly, I didn't participate in a lot of those individual programs as much because I was staffing those events. But I've heard from pretty much everyone that's gone that they really enjoyed the experience there, particularly the big zip, which is that really long zip line that you can get up to like 50 miles per hour while on the thing. While you're just sitting there with the little harness on it. So I'm sure that's a really good experience, along with all the rest of that experience that the Summit has to offer.
Sounds like a good time. I mean, and I've always heard about that zip line, and then I see pictures of a bridge. Is that right? Some sort of
yeah, the big waving bridge. So they have that bridge over the kind of big stream area in camp. Technically, the bridge is able to generate energy by its swaying. So when you get a bunch of people on there during a jamboree, generally like around meals or show times, sometimes they'll actually like be swaying within like 2 to 3 foot distance, so it feels like you're on a rocking ship, and it's really cool like that. So here they kind of go through some of the different areas like the rock climbing walls, mountain biking, whatever that one's called, as well as the skateboarding areas as well. Mountain boarding, is that what it's called? I wasn't sure.
Oh, my water rafting right there. And this is the New River Gorge area, is that correct?
Yes, the New River Gorge was just made into a national park actually fairly recently, and that's where they do a lot of their rafting, the whitewater rafting that they do as part of the camp. And I do believe there are a couple other rivers they might go to as well, but most of it happens through that New River Gorge area. Funny thing with that one is that even in like winter, there's areas of the river that are like hot tub kind of levels of warmth. Just because the water will go down like so many feet into the like riverbed that it just like warms itself up through geological fun times. But yeah, there's a lot, as this video shows, there's a lot of different activities that are part of the Summit Bechtel Reserve program.
It looks like just a phenomenal time. And actually, Michael down there, you're headed to the summit this summer, correct?
Yes, I will be going through OAHA, Lord of the Arrows High Adventure Program. So definitely looking forward to that.
Well, that should be a lot of fun.
Summit experience.
That'll be a good time. That'll be a good time. You'll have to tell us how that goes because I've heard everything about it. I'm excited to go back. To go for the first time at some point. And it's true and that's where they're just going to hold all the national jamborees and programs from here on out. Yeah.
So the Summit Bechtel is the current permanent home for national jamborees and large programs of that nature.
Well, awesome. Well, that's super exciting. I think that'd be a fun place to go and certainly kind of a great opportunity just to get, quite the sampler of everything that scouting has to offer in different places in different ways. I mean, that looks pretty phenomenal, the facilities they have there. And it just looks gorgeous. I mean, that looks like a really pretty area over there. Well, all right. Now for our last last but not least, our final high adventure base we want to talk about. We saved this one for last specifically because it's right here in New Mexico, arguably probably the more infamous base amongst or famous, I should say, a base amongst all of the high adventure bases, known pretty well even internationally, as I understand it. Philmont Scout Ranch here in northern New Mexico, located right next to Cimarron, New Mexico, for those of you who have been, a bit south of kind of like Raton, I think it is, up there. Just a beautiful area right up in those mountains. The infamous Tooth of Time, if you haven't seen that. Oh, here we go. Yeah, there you go. And we've had it for a long time. It was donated by Wade Phillips, kind of one of those, if you've ever heard of Phillips 66, I think he was part of that family, as I understand it.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful country. The mountains up there, I mean, look at those stars. This is just really great scenery shots. Oh, and there you go. So that's the Tooth of Time. Very, famous for scouters. It'll be on patches and that type of thing. They talk about it a lot when they go through, and they'll even tell you a bit about the geology. You can hike to the top of that. I've been to the top of that many times. It's really pretty to the view from there, and you can see base camp.
Yeah. And fun thing with the Tooth of Time is that it's only the third tallest mountain in the Philmont property. The first being Mount Baldy, kind of up in North Country, and then in South Country, there's also Mount Phillips, which is a bit behind the Tooth of Time. Mount Phillips is actually where the OA trail crew is currently building one of their larger trails from the kind of summit or the kind of base area of the mountain up to the summit. They've been working on it the past couple of years, and they'll be working on it a few years moving into the future, but they're going to get to the summit.
Nice. I mean, that'll be a good trail. I've hiked Mount Phillips. I've been wanting to get to Baldy for a while, but it seems every time I go, I end up doing Phillips. I've done Phillips like 2 or 3 times now, so it'd be pretty awesome to. That's a great trail. Oh, this looks like their cavalcade program or no fall horse drive. Oh, look at that. Yep. So for those who don't know, Philmont is a working ranch. That was part of the deal, as I understand it, when it was donated to us. And they have what they call, in addition to all their standard ranch operations, they have several horse riding opportunities, including a cavalcade program where you more or less go through the ranch. You still go up into the mountains, do all these things, but you do it all on horseback. And it's pretty phenomenal. And I think they also have a ranch hands program where if you wanted to learn what it's like to be a rancher or to do that kind of thing, they'll train you with their ranch staff, and you'll be out horseback riding. I think even helping manage. They have a herd of bison out there, which is pretty phenomenal. And I think you can even buy bison meat from the ranch. Don't ask me how you do that. I think you'd have to go to the Philmont Scout Ranch website, but I think you can even buy some
through the Tooth of Time Traders, if I do believe their website or store is where they sell it through. They sell the bison meat in general, as well as the bison or buffalo and normal beef meat as well, or jerky. I mean.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, I'll have to check that out because I enjoy. Granted, the only time I ever get buffalo burgers when I go to Fuddruckers, but I'll have to actually get some like real buffalo meat. They're just so it's a good opportunity if you want to do like ranch hands again and learn that. You get to work with their ranch staff, I think, for half the time, and the other half of the time is they take you on one of those cavalcade adventures where you're riding around the ranch just on horseback, and they teach you everything about how to care for the horses and do that type of thing. But of course, Philmont's primary program is just these really awesome backpacking trips out there with crews. And Michael, I think you've done one of those at least, right?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that.
Where'd you guys go?
We did a lot of different activities. I'm trying to remember the caps. We did rock climbing and shooting and blacksmithing. We went to one of the homesteads. So a lot of fun stuff.
Nice. No, yeah, and that's definitely something worth mentioning is Philmont has, in addition to just tons of awesome backpacking trails, they have a really phenomenal backcountry program where you can stay at these backcountry camps. Where they have everything from living history programs to science-based programs. Here's some of the horseback riding you're kind of looking at. Just everything. I remember when I went to a loggers camp and we did sparkle climbing. I remember going to a mine. I think it was Cypher's Mine, and they had an evening campfire program that was just phenomenal. And they actually, I guess, they maintain a couple of the historic mines up there, and they even get them certified so crews can go and take tours of them. when you stop by those backcountry camps. But all kinds of things. I think they have rope course facilities, like you said, rock climbing at some of them. So it's just pretty phenomenal. I've never had a bad time at any of their backcountry camps, and their campfire programs are always a great time. I mean, they have some pretty phenomenal musicians that just play up there and do some really awesome skits and other opportunities. And yeah, here you're seeing some of their staff interacting with them. They have a fish camp, I think we saw briefly up there. They had a black powder rifle shooting camp. And of course, just straight up backpacking. They just got a ton of really phenomenal backpacking trails. And they actually can expand that because they connect to different wilderness zones. I think the Via Vidal, I think they've got permission to use some national forest land, I want to say, on one side of them. So it's just got a lot of awesome, beautiful country and phenomenal. Oh, there's the sparkle climbing right there. Oh, it looks like somebody's learning some Morse code, some branding, of course. There's one of the mines.
Yeah, and to add into that, they do have a lot of access not only to their own kind of Philmont-based property, but also the connection into like Via Vidal, the National Preserve. That's actually one of the ways that you get around to the other side of the Mount Baldy if you want to come up the less hardcore end. It's a bit longer, but it's a bit easier of a trail if you go through the Via Vidal side than going through the Miranda side, which is the south side. The other half of it is that we saw a little bit in that video the trolley cart with the rail line. That's the Metcalf station. And something really fun about that is that's one of those ongoing Philmont projects that each of the participants that go through that area are able to like build upon. So you actually get to build some of the rail line essentially, and their whole goal is that they're going to connect that Metcalf station area through to one of the other camps. I don't entirely remember which one it is, but they're using. But like each participant group gets to put in like a couple of like ties of it, or the wooden beams, I guess, and then they put the steel rail in, so that way they're essentially like slowly rebuilding the railway like where it used to be back in the day.
Oh, wow. Well, that sounds like a great opportunity. I mean, just everything up there is phenomenal. Philmont has just awesome program. Oh, here's some pictures. So one of the awesome programs they have is Autumn Adventures. I had the opportunity to go on an autumn adventure with my home troop, Troop 166, this last fall. And it was just beautiful. I mean, we got to hike around. We pretty much had the backcountry to ourselves, and you can see some of the beautiful fall foliage that was going on there. We hit it just like right at the right time. All the aspen and everything were changing color, and the weather was just perfect, right? It wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold. It was just wonderful. And one of the nice things about going up in the autumn is you can really just kind of customize your trip. You can stay there almost as long as you want, as long as you're able to pay for it. And they'll take you pretty much anywhere you want to go. So we didn't have to do kind of one of the pre-set trip itineraries that they do for the summer. We were able to hike around. Granted, they don't have the same programs available in the backcountry because all their backcountry staff have winterized their camps and moved on. But there's some great fall foliage going on there. It was just beautiful. It was an awesome opportunity. We hit it definitely at the right time. Other things they offer in the fall, I mean, I think they offer unique hunting adventures for the hunters out there. You can sign up for. I mean, I think they've got everything from turkey to like elk and deer. It's just it's incredible the opportunities they have. They also have winter programs. I think they'll even do some things in the spring. They have individual program opportunities that are just fun. I mean, they have a ridiculous number of them, just phenomenal ones, ranging from a STEM trek that they do where you're literally going through the science, technology, engineering, mathematics of all these different things out there. I mean, covering, as I understand, like the physics of rock climbing and everything else to, the ballistics of when they do like the rifle shooting in the backcountry. They have one called Roving Outdoor Conservation School where you do kind of the biology and that side of the science and everything of being in the backcountry. And it's supposed to be just phenomenal. I think that's possibly their longest adventure. I think that's like I forget how many days you're out there, but that one may be on the verge of 3 or more weeks. Ray Otto, which is a program that I've just heard everybody rave about. I haven't heard a person say anything bad about it. And you're out there again for, I think, close to 20 days for Ray Otto. But it's just a phenomenal opportunity. One But if you're interested in going up to Philmont and you can't, if you don't have a crew going, just go on their website. They have a huge repertoire of individual program treks that you can take part in that offer you unique experiences. Like they're not going to be your standard, trek that you go up with your crew or contingent from a troop. It's going to be tailored towards some form of program. Each of those programs is just awesome. I highly recommend it. Here we go. Oh, trail crew check. Yep, we got to mention that one.
Yes.
And then Order the Arrow Trail Crew Trek. Both of those are phenomenal opportunities. 2 weeks. And as you can see the price there. I mean, for 2 weeks at Philmont, that is a steal of a deal. So, it's just phenomenal. And again, it's just north of us. If you can find a ride up there, I always like to joke with folks. Find somebody with a Prius to drive you up there, and that way, I mean, you can get a 2-week trek for less than $500. And honestly, they also have scholarships available. One of the things they mentioned is they have scholarships available, and I know a lot of different councils and groups often have scholarships available for those who might just need help going up. I mean, I think one of the things that everybody recognizes, and a lot of these high adventurers recognize, things like the pandemic or natural disasters or just life happens to folks. So they want to make sure everybody has the opportunity to go up. Regardless of your circumstances. So if money is something that you're worried about because of different things going on, just contact them. They have different opportunities available to try and help make it more affordable. The other thing we should mention is the Philmont Training Center. And I think that's what this BSA Family Adventure Camp is a part of. The Philmont Training Center, or PTC, as a lot of people reference it. Yep, there it is just an awesome conference and business kind of area, and it's used by scouting for all kinds of training. And I mean, they cover everything from wood badge to, leadership training to just anything. And their schedule is constantly changing. It's one of those things that if you're interested in going and getting trained, doing it at Philmont is just an awesome opportunity. That family adventure camp that they're mentioning is that they offer the opportunity that not only can the person being trained go up, but they can bring their whole family. And they'll, while that individual is getting trained, the rest of the family, kids of various ages to even, the spouse can be off doing different adventures, anything from a week-long backpacking trip to day trips to, just opportunities for, even young kids that they have at kind of the daycare and day camps that they have available on the grounds there. Programs are just phenomenal. Everybody raves about everything they can do through that. They have special tents set up so that way you still get electricity. They even recently installed these really awesome family luxury tents. I've seen pictures of. I've never been in one. I've never been able to get in one, but they are, the pictures are pretty phenomenal, and the opportunities are just endless. I mean, Philmont is a phenomenal opportunity, and we're really lucky to have it literally in our backyard. I mean, technically it's in our council, but since it's part of the national program, it's still a national thing, but it is theoretically within the limits of our council. So it's just right up there. Just driving up there for any of these opportunities. Often I've seen different groups like the OA and others hold trainings up there and different events up there. I think even NYLT was considering a program up there 2 weeks ago, though that didn't end up happening, I think. But it's just a great opportunity to take advantage of, and we're real lucky to have it right in our backyard. So make sure you look at their website. I mean, they have just so many things. You could probably spend hours on there looking at the stuff. But feel free to Google it, look at their promo materials. Even just give them a call. NAIL, National Advanced Youth Leadership Experience, is kind of the next step from NYLT. So for all of our NYLT folks who heard that little blurb, they'll probably be talking about NAIL happening at Philmont. I think Philmont and Summit are the only ones that do it. But Philmont was the original place. Like they were the original kind of starters of the NAIL program, and they just run an awesome opportunity. Make sure to take advantage of these. I mean, they have boundless opportunities at Philmont. I highly recommend it. If you haven't been, then I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, where have you been? But just check it out. I've got my backpacking pack behind me over there. I've actually got a Philmont map behind me, but it's kind of hidden. It's right across. But they've just got a lot of cool stuff. I've always enjoyed it when I've gone up there. A lot of great memories. So yeah. Well, we're gonna wrap that up with the high adventure opportunities. We highly encourage every one of you to look those up. to Google them or even go to YouTube. They've all got different promotional videos that are just a lot of fun to look at and give you information on what they do. And that's just some great chances to get up off the couch and have fun this summer, right? As we continue this theme and encourage you to get up and stay active throughout the entire season, not just kind of the past 4 weeks, but on into the future. Real quick, another opportunity we want to talk about was a Cub Scout day camp. So we're going to kind of cover that real quick. And I believe, Michael, were you covering that, or I forget if that was you or Ethan? Okay.
So save the date for the upcoming virtual Cub Scout day camp, which will be held June 24th through the 26th. The theme will be weird science. So there will be daily themes of physical science, space science, and animal science. There will be a campfire program on the Friday night of that. This camp isn't focused on advancement for ranks, but there will be some activities that can be counted towards that. So definitely be on the lookout for that. The goal is to provide some fun activities, especially considering that a lot of us have been online for most of the year. So definitely get out, get off the couch, and have some fun. More information will be coming out soon. Check the council the website, which is displayed here. And if you have any questions, contact Sky at montanasky@hotmail.com.
Well, awesome. That's a good opportunity to take advantage of. Again, we're trying to encourage people to continue to keep getting off the couch and finding new and fun ways to do things as we go on into the summer. Hopefully things will be opening up, but and we seem to be on track for that. So, I mean, keep up, being safe, being careful out there, but hopefully we can open up and we'll have more opportunities for fun as we go on. Well, now we've kind of reached the point that all of you all have been waiting for. But before we announce the final leaderboard, we wanted to make sure we had a special video that was put together by our own Jesse Brown, who was kind enough to create kind of a final compilation based off the submissions that you all made. We'll be playing that shortly, but you all have done a phenomenal job. A lot of people doing some really awesome work out there. Keep it up, keep pushing on in the summer. Make sure you're having fun, being safe, but having fun out there and doing different things. So hopefully we'll have that video playing here in just a second.
So we're going to have a bit of a technical issue with that one. We'll pop over to the video when we get that figured out.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all right. So before we do the video, then we'll do some quick thank yous for everybody who's been involved with this project and those who have helped us out in doing anything for the camporee. Of course, for starting off, I'd like to thank Dennis Howard, Cynthia Howard, Colin Howard, all the Howards. They've been super involved with this from the beginning. Dennis has been, if you've seen Camporee Go For appear periodically on your screen, he's been the guy doing all the tech stuff and trying to figure all this out. And we've been trying to get, he's just done a phenomenal job for like everybody and everything that's been going on during COVID, figuring out kind of how to stream stuff virtually and have all these unique effects and do everything from recordings to live material to then broadcasting through all the different media. So he's just done a phenomenal job figuring that out, editing videos. It's been wonderful. Cynthia, who's been a wonderful source of information, involved in the leadership of the camporee, knows pretty much any of the things that we've been able to tell. So whenever we have questions about anything going on, she's just wonderful about giving us answers and helping make sure that we know everything that needs to happen and have the materials that we need and the access that we need to get everything to happen. Of course, I'd like to thank Michael down there. Well, he's on the bottom of my screen, but he's probably at the top of one of these others. I don't know how it's set up, but he's done a phenomenal job. He's been on everything. I think he's probably been the most professional looking out of any of us. I'm always trying to look kind of outdoorsy and high adventure. I don't look good, but every time I see him, he looks really well put together with that Class A. Repping scouting very well. Has been there to do interviews, been involved in MYLT, involved in OA. The poor guy's been trying to do a full schedule of scouting things full time, while at the same time doing everything from his college classes to his high school classes to everything, as I understand it. So it's been pretty phenomenal. And thank you, Michael. Hopefully you can get some sleep after this at some point. Colin up there has been the same. He's been running a full gauntlet of scouting and college and everything else things at the same time. We hope he can sleep too. A lot of people, just having long sleepless nights. Maybe not, but we'll see. Final season is almost over. So for all you high schoolers and college kids out there, stick with it. You're almost there. May's here. Today's May 2nd. So, it's just around the corner, I'm sure. You'll have all the fun of summer activities available here soon. Thank you. We'd also like to thank again Jesse Brown, who's been a huge help just with all of the camporee activities. But in addition, put together that final video we'll hopefully see here in a second. Matt Unsworth, who's been very involved, helped coordinate everything going on, as well as helped get us in contact with the Mars rover folks and several other opportunities and information going on through there. Ken Bates, who, as I understand it, was one of our special judges and graders of all the information. So as you can imagine, trying to run through all of the submissions through Saturday and have them ready for us to play by Sunday was just a lot. And Kevin Hart, who was also a leader in our camporee committee and brought in all the information and planning. Everybody here has been involved in information planning, logistics. As you can imagine, there's a lot of work that goes into this and to try and plan and set it up. And we're just so grateful for all their help and assistance. Oh, we've got our video, so I'm going to be quiet and let you go. Oop, bear with us. We're just trying to get some volume for you guys. In the meantime, these look like some awesome submissions. There's a great square knot. I like the Ninja Turtles outfit from somebody. Looks like a Cub Scout group that did a lot of awesome things. Some more knots. Everybody loved getting tied up, I can see. Awesome. And these knots are going to be important. One of the things when we were talking about high adventure bases, you will use knots out there for everything from setting up tents to clotheslines to bear ropes. So these are important things. Knowing that, yeah, there you go. Not so fast. That's awesome. Oh, this almost looks like it was a speed knot tying thing going down the line. Nice. Oh, one-handed bull line, I'm betting. Is that? Yep. Oh, there's a marshmallow. Oh, looks like they quite the feast there. They're out shopping and everything. Nice. Man, this is going to make me hungry. Hot dogs. Yeah, I love hot dogs.
Sad they only did the boiled hot dogs instead of grilling.
I know it's kind of classic. You can use the meat juice for other things, or you can just pour it out too. Probably healthier to pour it out. Oh, what are we doing here? Challenge number 8. I don't remember what the numbers of the challenges. Somebody showed their go kit. Awesome. I was hoping somebody would do that. Don't get lost. That's good advice. I have some friends on New Mexico Search and Rescue, and they would agree with that. Oh, looks like they had some fun out there. This is a good group. Nope, some hikes. Oh, I have 2 arms anyway. First aid, okay. I always remember this being fun. I enjoyed getting to work with kind of what they call the moulage, right? You kind of do the fake wounds. And then, more or less getting to tie up your friends, right? You're going to splint their arms and legs. And oh, yeah, here's a guy who's getting carried. There you go. Stretcher carries are always good. It's always more fun to be the person in the stretcher, typically, as long as people are, good about carrying you well. Oh, these folks had like a full-blown stretcher. Look at that. Oh, looks like a good first aid kit. Yep. Well, that one's really organized. Wow.
I'm always tired.
But setting up a good tent will help. Nice. And this is actually really always important, making sure you know how to set up your tent. Always kind of recommend doing that even before. If you get a new tent, always try to say, oh, what?
I think that was a rooster
Oh,
or a
wow.
chicken or something.
Well, that's some wildlife for you. Looks like
You
a
got to get your nature in where you can.
I mean, usually you don't expect the wildlife to come running up like that, but hey, whatever works. I wasn't aware we had some wild roosters or chickens out there. I guess we probably do. I've heard of grouse, but
It's probably a pet, I'm presuming. Or farm animal of the similar variety.
Public speaking, that's always good. That's a hard one, man, getting up and doing a speech in front of people. Oh, light safely, fire. Yeah, and that's important. We're coming on fire season, so lighting it safely is important stuff, and it looks like they did a really awesome job. This looks like it must have been a skit. I can't say for certain, but I bet that was the invisible bench skit. Oh, here we go. It looks like, yeah, food drive, trash cleanup, or maybe just still part of the food drive, I think. Still, service always helps. Nice. Oh, yep, lots of food. Well, this is good. I'm sure it was a big and useful donation for everybody. I know they're really hurting for extra food right now. Native plant seed bombs. I haven't seen those before.
They're basically like as you were mentioning before we started, essentially a mud ball with the native seeds and like plants and grasses and flowers and stuff in them. It's so that way you could like throw them at like a barren field, and then eventually it'll be able to grow up with like native plants for pollinators and stuff.
That sounds like a really cool idea, honestly. I've never thought of that. Make a joyful noise. Oh, I remember the submission. Yeah, when they sang a song, that was really great. It's pity. Hopefully, we'll get the audio up and we'll have this video posted again on the Facebook and YouTube page. But there's some just really phenomenal, really fun oh, wow. Submissions. That was impressive.
They appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where'd those guys come from? Nice. That's a good flag. The lucky sevens. Nice. Oh, here we are. All the units. Everybody did an awesome job. There were just some phenomenal submissions out there. Really cool stuff. Thanks again to Jesse Brown for setting that up. Sorry for our technical difficulties, but again, hopefully have that posted later to the Facebook and YouTube page with the audio that came with it, and you all can see that. Great submissions. I wouldn't be surprised if they post even more of those just periodically to the Facebook and YouTube page. Keep going at it. I mean, I know we've now finished the end of our camporee, but once again, don't be afraid to continue getting off the couch and going out and doing some of these activities in a safe way. Make sure you're following all regulations and guidelines out there. Things have been opening up, and people in general have been doing a lot better, but make sure you're still staying safe so we can continue to open up and hopefully be back to relatively normal here soon. All right. Well, I guess that brings us to kind of the part y'all have been waiting for, the grand finale, the final leaderboard, and where people have been on that. Yep, so some drum rolls. We're going to have it. We're going to post it right here and just go through that. We're going to go through each category of Webelos, then Cub Scouts, then troops and crews. So starting right off, we'd like to recognize the American Dragons of Webelos with a final point tally of 570. We really want to give these guys credit. They were our only Webelos group that we know of who were competing. They did a phenomenal job. Even though they're the only group, they still actually came in 4th overall. Literally outpacing the majority of other units. So they did a phenomenal job and just a wonderful amount of challenges that they completed and did a great job on. We really want to recognize them. Great job, American Dragons. Keep pushing. You guys are just an awesome, awesome group. So moving right along, we've got the Cub Scouts, and Colin will be talking about those.
Yeah, so once we get a bit of a scroll around on the page, so we had a couple of different Cub units or packs that were involved in this camporee. Actually, a lot of them ended up doing better than the majority share of the participants overall, with the lowest being 250 with Bionic Bears of pack 174. But beyond that, most of them had higher scores than a lot of the troops actually did, which is surprising and also a very interesting development in and of itself. Beyond the Bionic Bears in fourth place, we had the Super Drill in third at 380, the Wolf Maniacs at 500, and our first place winners were the Lucky Sevens at 660.
Awesome. I mean, those are some just great point totals. I mean, the Cubs did an awesome job this time. So moving right along into our final category of the troops and crews. And to lead those off, we've got Michael.
So in 10th place, we have the Blue Rubber Ducks with 80 points. In 9th place, the 505 Vipers with 130, along with the Vikings. The Ninjas just ahead of them with 170 points. From Troop 714, we have the Badgers with 190, and their other patrol, which I'm not going to try to say, with 230 points.
Coyote backwards, I think.
Yes. I don't know how to say it. Then we have the T-Rex Patrol with 270, the Troop 24 Boys with 280, the Duct Tape Patrol, love that name, with 680, and then our first place patrol or Troop 1919 with 972 points. So very good job to everybody.
Awesome. No, that is wonderful. And Troop 1919, you all did just an awesome job. You've had a commanding lead throughout all of this, and it looks like, based on some of the photos and videos, you've done a great job organizing, getting together, and coordinating to do a lot of these activities. So just an awesome job. And great work to everybody. I mean, even only if you got 80 points, but up to, the 700s and more. I mean, good job. At the very least, having fun, getting out there, and again, getting off the couch, which is all that we're about, trying to get you guys up. What are you going to say, Colin?
Well, as you kind of mentioned, I was just going to say that really everyone here is a winner just because we all kind of met the goal of getting off the couch and getting back into doing our programs at the very least. They might not necessarily been what our normal program is, but at least we're doing something, and that matters to what kind of moving on and moving forward.
No, exactly. And that's the big takeaway we want everybody to have. Don't let the pandemic slow you down. There are all these opportunities we're trying to come up with safe and fun ways to get together and practice scouting. Again, make sure you're doing it in a safe and responsible way, but get off the couch and do some of these things. There's no reason your own troop or unit couldn't form something similar and have competitions even amongst your own patrols and units. Make sure you're having fun and being safe out there. Real quick, some final plugs now as we finish up. I want to throw in a final plug for, of course, NYLT and Gorham. That'll be happening out there. And again, Brownsee's at the same time. Make sure to sign up for those programs. They'll happen this summer, I think in July. Is that right, Michael?
Yes, the third week of July.
Third week of July, and that's NYLT and Brownsea. Gorham's happening all across the summer. Make sure you're checking out the council website and their website for all their dates. There's going to be a Weeblo Week in the Wood Zone in there as well. So another opportunity for Weeblos and Cub Scouts. Again, continue to check the websites. We're looking pretty good. We think, everybody says that we're on track to operate. So keep being safe. Make sure we can do that. But make sure you take advantage of those opportunities. And finally, any of the other opportunities you want to look at, the high adventure ones that we talked about, we should have those interviews popping up here soon. And just check them out. I mean, Philmont is literally 3.5 hours north of here. Just a wonderful place to check out and have fun. They've got museums and everything. Even if you're just driving by and not doing any of their regular stuff, they've got several museums that have just a lot of really cool things to check out, to include the National Scouting Museum. So if you're just kind of a scout nerd and curious about the history and everything else, you can go in there. And of course, they're never shameless to ask you to stop by the trading post and take your money. But they'll give you lots of cool stuff in
Well,
return.
they have good things for trading.
Yeah.
Both the
They'll trade you
National
cool
Scout
stuff.
Museum and the giant the Time Traders one. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
There's a lot of cool stuff. They'll trade you good stuff for it. I mean, it's not like they're just stealing your money. So, well, all right. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us in these 4 weeks and sticking out and having lots of fun. Once again, we'd like to remind you just to get off the couch and have fun. Thank you and goodbye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.